In June 1913, the Great War is in full swing. All of Europe is aflame. The newly ascended German Empire is at war together with our allies, or is at war on both fronts against the Soviet Union in the east and against France in the west. We are slowly making progress on a major offensives into eastern Poland, and at the same time Austria-Hungary is getting squeezed from two sides, from a very large force of Soviet troops coming in from the east, and also by Italian troops coming in from the west. Meanwhile, the French are on the defensive in northern France against a German assault that will try to, as much as possible, to keep them out of the war. We have had some great successes in the Baltics, but it is not yet secure. There are still Soviet cruisers underway, and there's still a battle group. So while the Baltic fleet of the Soviets has been badly bruised, it has not yet been completely defeated. Fortunately, not much is happening at this point in the North Sea after the English raids to our coasts. Our submarines have not been very successful just yet, and in other fronts the war is going on in the colonies. And here again Germany seems to have the upper hand. We are running an offensive against the British defenses in Nigeria, and we are running an offensive against Sudan as well as South Africa. And the Italians are making progress despite being vastly outnumbered against the Ethiopian defenders in the First Abyssinian War. The British Empire has sued for peace. After humiliating defeats in the North Sea and zero success of their raiding forces, the population at home has enough of the war, and the British forces are retreating from the European continent, and the British Navy is nowhere to be found. In return, Germany, as one of the victors, gets to make demands, and I think we will be asking for some of their African possessions, probably. So it's a little difficult to figure this out, but I think what we can take either Zanzibar or Swaziland of them. Swaziland I think would be in the south, more southern Africa. We could also take Mauritius of them. That'll be quite interesting. And anything else that we can... There's so much. There's so many possessions the British are having. We could take Fiji of them and strengthen our eastern positions, but I think our eastern fleet is currently not our focus. So we are more interested in finishing off the war in Europe. So I think African colonies might take. I'm going to take Swaziland of them, and we can. No, don't want Shetland. So, do I want any of their ships? Probably not. Our ships have proven superior, so it's nothing I'm really interested in to take off them at this point and maintain. So we may as well propose that. And apparently, the governments have decided that. No, the British will not transfer any provinces, but instead take the full funds of just pay war reparations. So I'm sure there was some corruption again underway, because from our perspective, having more colonies in Africa would have been a better outcome. Meanwhile, the Italians had one of their politicians assassinated. And we have been accused to be behind this. Given that we have just signed a peace deal with the British, we are happy to take on the Italian Empire as well. And at the same time, the Soviets have once again managed to get one of their forces through our defenses in the Baltics, and while we have been trying to intercept their cruisers, they are attacking us in the North Sea. Which means the Hessen and the Wuppertal, two of our Derfflinger class battle cruisers, with their destroyer escort, are facing the Revel, a Petropavlovsk class battleship of 21,000 tons displacement, and the Tver, a battle cruiser, which is slightly larger, and a heavy cruiser plus 2 light cruisers. So this could get somewhat interesting in terms of overall tonnage. While the destroyers are scouting ahead, the Derflingers are getting in a line ahead formation, ready to give battle to the Soviet forces once again. Suddenly, shell splashes all around the Hessen. It looks like the enemy has detected us before we managed to spot them, and the shells were coming from the north. So the destroyers are turning and increasing their and trying to close the range as quickly as possible to find the enemy ships. And we have spotted one on the horizon. That is probably the battleship. Okay, looks like a pre-dreadnought design, but probably, if the Nassau class is anything to go by, potentially quite potent. So we definitely do need to watch out what we're getting ourselves into here, and obviously there are going to be cruisers there as well. But now that we have something spotted, the Wuppertal and the Hessen have something to shoot at and are starting to open up fire. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It's been a while. I haven't been playing since way before my Germany holidays, so there have been a couple of patches since then, but we're still on version 1.3, so we'll see how the game plays and how the game behaves now. I don't know if anything major has been changed, but these splashes are coming relatively close actually already. So let's make sure that we get everything spotted. So far we've only got the 2 contacts over there, and that's probably the battleship and the battle cruiser, or that looks more like the heavy cruiser actually, if that's in line. And we have no idea yet what they're capable of, but so far we might try to target the first one and see if we can get some hits in from long range from the Hessen and the Wuppertal. That's a lot of shellfire coming in. We haven't seen anything besides these 2 yet. Last time we've been fighting the Soviets, there have been some interesting tactics of surrounding us and coming up out of interesting positions, but we haven't been able to identify them just yet. But let's see if we can get some shots on target here. That was a little bit overshot, but pretty close already. But we're still way out of effective range of these ships. So for now we'll just adjust our course slightly, angle in, and make sure that we keep them spotted. We do have to be careful with the destroyers not to get too close, but we can potentially oh nope, never mind, light cruiser spotted. Is that a light cruiser or is that an enemy destroyer? That is probably the light cruiser. Okay, bigger problem, light cruiser spotted. Smoke, and we will target the battleship. Let's see if maybe we can get a torpedo drop in. But smoke up, turn, and drop your torpedoes. Are they within torpedo range? Not yet. They're not even yet in torpedo range. So we do need to get a little bit closer. Just need to be careful with that light cruiser, that we're not getting into any trouble. The battle cruisers so far, no one's really hit anybody just yet, but obviously they have the screening cruisers have managed to spot our destroyers, so just managed to spot each other. The heavy cruiser might actually be the better target, because the torpedo angles against I'm still not sure if it's the battleship or the battle cruiser, are not great, but the light cruiser is sitting in that smoke, and I don't want to get too close to that thing. Yeah, there he is, and I think we will drop our torpedoes at extreme range and then get the heck out of here, because the light cruiser might also have torpedoes away, and is in smoke, so it's going to be difficult to hit him. But we'll drop our torpedoes in the general direction and then get the destroyers to disengage and just spot from the outside. These are... I'm not sure which class of destroyers these actually are. But first one's got torpedoes away. So let's get the destroyers to disengage and get to safety, while the battle cruisers are going to maintain their distance. And I think, yeah, the heavy cruiser is maneuvering. So let's target the light cruiser. He's the biggest threat for our destroyers at this point. Yep, that's why. So we definitely need to get the heck out of here. Yes, because their fire is accurate, and V-24 has been immediately taken out by heavy shell fire, despite the smoke screen. So our destroyers need to disengage. Not sure if these torpedoes are going to hit anything. One over penetration on the light cruiser, but yeah, the destroyers need to get out of there. At least the two remaining ones. Why are they making 9 knots? Come on. They probably slowed down because of V-24, but V-24 has been taken out almost immediately, and we will see if we got any. We might be getting some lucky hits onto the light cruiser actually, but it looks like the heavy cruiser and the battleship have turned away. There were ships spotted over here-ish earlier. So at this point, I'm more inclined to just give chase with the battle cruisers, and I think the light cruiser has gone undetected. So we are focusing our fire. Have we managed a torpedo hit? Doesn't look like, because yeah, these guys are avoiding. They are avoiding the torpedoes. So I think unless the light cruiser is bumbling into it, these torpedoes are going to be a miss. But we'll get the destroyers to turn around and rejoin the battle cruisers as a screening force for now. And the battle cruisers are going to have to do the heavy lifting here, because I don't think we're going to have any luck with the torpedoes. What have we got here? That is actually a heavy cruiser. So the other one is actually the battle cruiser. So these are the two. Yeah, this is we have identified the Revell and the Tver, and these two are actually the enemy heavy hitters. So we'll maintain distance, but we do need to try to close in the range, because at 10 kilometers, well, let's start targeting the Revell. But I think these torpedoes, yeah, they did avoid the torpedoes, unfortunately. But maybe we can do something with the guns, while keeping an eye out for the enemy light forces as well. We have reacquired one of the light cruisers, and it looks like the Soviet force is trying to get away, and they have sent out one of their light cruisers to try and cover their retreat. So we will see. We'll focus all our guns on this ship now, and see if we can take her out before she gets her torpedoes away. I'm pretty sure that's a light cruiser. Yeah, that's a light cruiser. So let's see if we can get that thing sunk before it launches torpedoes, and get the battle cruisers with their big guns on target here. And I think we have gotten we're getting the first couple of hits in. I am going to slightly drop speed on the Wuppertal and slightly turn in, because the light cruiser looks like he was doing a torpedo run. And the rest of the Soviet fleet probably has realized that they have no chance of escaping us, given that we have a speed advantage, and are closing back in. So we just have to be careful about torpedoes, but we are starting to hammer that light cruiser here with a couple of good hits, and I think she is starting not to look great, taking heavy fire from that turn from the big guns of our battle cruisers here. No torpedoes have been spotted so far. Could have been a feint, but we're still scoring hits on the light cruiser that is frantically trying to disengage, the Oleg, and is well within the range of our secondary guns. So I don't think that ship's going to get out of there. I think we will have revenge for V-24 from delivered by the German battle cruisers with extreme prejudice. And we have confirmation. The Oleg is sinking due to heavy flooding, which means that the Wuppertal and the Hessen can now start redirecting their fire. That is, I believe, the heavy cruiser, which is the closest target. So we are going to take that one on next. It looks like we'll be crossing the T of the Tver here. So we do have the destroyers ready. Once they have their torpedoes reloaded, we will have oh, nope, never mind. I think one of our destroyers just got completely blown up. Yeah, V-29 just got obliterated. I don't even know by what. That was a 317 millimeter shell. So let's drop torpedoes once if we can, and then get the heck out of here. It's not a good day for the German destroyers. They've been subjected to accurate and withering Soviet fire. We are getting some return fire in on whatever that is. I think that's a heavy cruiser. It looks like she's got her engines disabled and might be running into the battle cruiser. So we are giving as much as we're taking, but the destroyers have suffered heavily in this battle so far. We've lost 2 of them almost instantly. The Wuppertal has been taking is taking fire, has a bit of a flood going on. The V-28 is now the last destroyer, and we are going to get her to retreat. She has fired all of her torpedoes, and the battle cruisers are returning the favor as much as possible. And so far we are trading favorably, although we are taking losses. And I'm not sure where our torpedoes are. Is it these? No. I'm not sure where the torpedoes are, but I think we got the torpedoes away. Hessen is now starting to come under fire. Okay, that was another light cruiser, Kapitan Saken. So we do need to turn and start dealing with the heavy hitters. So the Tver and the Revell. I think the Revell is one of the bigger threats here at this point. We've taken down the 2 light cruisers, but the Tver is closer. So while we are closing in somewhat, and they are still trying to hit the destroyer, I am going to return to all ahead flank and see if we can. This is a dangerous turn because we are giving broadside to these guns, and they have relatively large guns. The Revell is a bit more powerful than us in that regard, than the main guns, but we do need to kind of get around now and close the range, because we don't want to have a range duel. Our battle cruisers are, at least this group of battle cruisers is excelling at mid-range, and it'd be better if we were getting a little closer, get the 88s on target and everything else. But we do have a good chance now with the main guns. Solution is at 53%, 56. So it's just unfortunate that we have to go into the turn, but that's just how it is. The heavy cruiser is the Pamiat Azova may be trying to disengage here, but we do need to get these 2 out of the way, because this is a dangerous turn. We're giving full broadside, and that was a penetration. We've lost 1 engine on the Wuppertal. That's exactly what I was afraid of. I think Hessen is going to have to detach and maintain her speed, but take some of the fire, because I think Wuppertal has lost she's just lost engine control for now, and we're going to get her to angle in a little bit and we're going to we're going to run these two by hand, because I would love to concentrate fire at the Tver instead of the Revel for now. So Wuppertal she's slowed down to 20 knots because I think that's all she can do right now with her damaged engine. No, they've got the engine damage under control. Never mind. So we get her back up to speed, and we are in that case we can get the battle line restored, and we're going back into formation. Although Wuppertal has has some flooding in the aft section, so we'll leave them as is for now. But we'll close in a bit more with the Hessen and see if we can make something happen, while Wuppertal is going to maintain a bit of a rear action and artillery support for now. And yeah, this is a relatively even fight still. They still have a heavy cruiser in the game, and our battle cruisers have been effective, but have also been taking a beating. So we'll see how close we can get the Hessen. We've got a good solution on the Tver with 46%. We just have to make some hits here, and I think we're straddling close, but we're not really getting her on target, while the Soviets are a little bit more effective with their return fire. Okay, that wasn't bad. We did get what was that? That was a nope, I don't even know. But Hessen has taken a hit in the forward section as well. Wuppertal is taking on water in the stern quite significantly, and I am not so sure we're doing. Oh, there, that was a nice penetration from the 305mm main guns on the Tver, but she's still perfectly battle capable. So let's see how this turns out here. They are now starting to angle away, and that means they're not really getting their guns on target, but we are getting belt penetrations here, even from the 269mm guns. So Hessen has lost rudder control after a hit in the aft belt. I'm thinking this is starting to look less than ideal for us. We are getting partial penetrations, but we do have to turn. We do have to turn now, and both Hessen and Wuppertal have been taking quite a bit of damage. While we have been able to inflict some damage to the Soviet battle cruiser, it looks like both Hessen and Wuppertal have taken the short straw in this battle, and have both sustained significant damage at this point. We are, both of them have the Wuppertal has taken on water in the stern, and the Hessen is flooding both in bow and stern. So we will try to retreat, and it looks like this was not the day of the German Navy. We'll still inflict as much damage as we can, but the Tver has been taking it pretty well. While we're retreating, we'll shift fire to the heavy cruiser and see maybe we can still inflict some damage, and maybe with a lucky shot take her out. But I don't think we'll be capable of taking on these two Soviet capital ships at this point. I think the Derfflinger class battle cruisers are struggling to deal with these, and in addition they had some really lucky hits early on dealing with our destroyers, and I think we can outrun them. The Tver is a little bit faster, but the other two are very slow. So especially the Revel, which is probably a pre-dreadnought, but has just like the Nassau class in our case, has conducted herself well. So we will see if we can make it out of here without any further losses. Especially the Hessen, I'd be rather unhappy to lose, but I think we might be able to get out of firing range of these guys if possible. and disengage for some repairs. And by the looks of it, we're gonna need a bigger boat. The battleships themselves might be needed to deal with these things. Under heavy enemy fire, listing and burned, the Hessen and the Wuppertal had to withdraw from the battle. This one goes to the Soviets. They've been lucky and have been showing some surprisingly good seamanship. We will retreat for now, try to enact some repairs, use our superior speed to disengage, and give battle again another day. Despite the loss of 2 destroyers and the severe damage to the Hessen and the Wuppertal, the Admiralty still considers this engagement a victory. We have managed to sink 2 light cruisers, the Kapitan Saken and the Oleg, as well as done some damage to the enemy battle cruiser. All in all, a very equal outcome in the end from a relatively equal engagement of 2 fleets.